Hey guys, I'm Megs, an often overcaffeinated, adequately tattooed, straight talking host, therapist, copywriter, and coach on a mission to conquer the crazy that is small business ownership. Join me every week for a rousing combination of lessons learned and gold nuggets uncovered on my own self employed journey, as well as interviews with other kick ass creative leaders and how to pointers for those business owners that want to improve their own professional copywriting skills, since words are kind of my jam. So sit back, grab a healthy serving of your favorite go go juice, and join me for Caffeinate and Conquer, the podcast. So today I am beyond jazzed to be sitting down and chatting with my friend, badass Wonder Woman business coach and unicorn wrangler, Nicole Cherie Barker.
What's your story? Where are you from? What's your background? Who the hell are you?
That simple? I thought it was going to be something scary and hard.
Oh, that's just the start.
Well, I'm actually a bartender. You know, like that's who I really am.
I love it.
I've been a bartender. I started bartending when the day I turned 21. I was on my way to law school when I met a boy, and I moved cities and did all the things. And you know, it's always a goddamn boy.
But always a boy.
I moved cities, did the thing, didn't go to law school, fell in love with bartending. I was really good at it. And I made a lot of money very fast, and which was great because I was pregnant. So I needed that money. I became a bar consultant very quickly. I transferred up the ranks. I won international cocktail competitions, traveled all over the place, and I was running a chapter of a national nonprofit here. I was the president for 7 years for the Bartenders Guild. So I was doing all of the things in bartender land and consulting for a lot of different businesses. I'm actually opening my own spot here in Reno.
Okay, that's awesome. Amazing.
We're in construction right now, which has been, obviously with COVID, has been a nightmare, but it is what it is. So we're opening a spot here. I have 2 business partners, and in the meantime, I was bored, right? I was bored. I didn't have anything to do, and I was on Facebook doing Facebook boring things, and I fell into a sales funnel before I knew what a sales funnel was. And all of a sudden I was on a sales call, and I was like, what just happened? I was on a sales call, and that's how I met my coach. And like, I actually started this whole thing doing Facebook ads.
Okay, so keep going.
Yeah,
So this whole thing, for people that don't know, I mean, I'm already down the rabbit hole of your universe. So for the people that don't know, enlighten them.
So I started doing Facebook ads a year ago, actually. A year ago this week, I joined.
Congratulations.
I started doing Facebook ads, and I wasn't real great at them. Because I'm not super techie. I literally have not touched a laptop or a computer, like a desktop, since high school. Like at all. Like I wrote the first 30,000 words of my novel on my phone. Just not a computer person. So I struggled with the tech, right? I struggled with the tech, but you know what I didn't struggle with? Getting clients. Okay, because I'm a bartender and I know everybody and I know how to talk to people on social media. And so I had no problem getting clients, but I would bring these clients back to my coaching group and be like, okay, I got another one. What do I do now? And so all of these really cool old dudes, like I love that group. Like seriously, like that was like when I started to realize the capacity of like online connection and all that stuff, because like I really love these old men. Like they're my buddies, you know, like Ray and Justin and Carrie, like they're my buddies, they're my old man buddies. And they helped me. And they were so nice to me. And believe me, in bar world, no one has ever been nice to me. Not ever. Like all the girls are freaking bitches. Yeah. All the dudes are like, I hate girls. Like, I mean, it is nonsense, right? Like, it is not fun. And these people were so nice to me. It's like, what is wrong? What's going on? And so they would help me. They helped me figure out how to put the pixel on the page when I couldn't figure out all the things, and help me set up these clients that I had no idea what to do with. And they were, you know, kind of laughing at me, and they started calling me Wonder Woman because I kept landing all these clients that I had no idea what to do with.
Love it.
So my coach that was teaching Facebook ads reached out to me, and he was like, hey, how are you doing this? Hey, what are you doing? And so I told him, and he's like, you should teach other people how to do that. And I was like, okay. So I taught all those old men how to get their clients, right? Because they were all really good at running Facebook ads. Okay?
Oh my God, I love it. Okay.
They were all really good at it, so they deserve clients. Okay? And so a funny thing happened. I'd get on the phone with them for an hour, explain my system and how to do it, and then all of a sudden, they get clients, right?
Oh
and
my
so then that's when Client Attraction Secrets for Wonder Woman was born, right? Like I built my Facebook group. I started it at the end of March. March 25th is her birthday. And we started the Facebook group, and it is now at 11,000 members. And I'm running a coaching program for client attraction where I help you to get more and better clients no matter what industry you're in, because it doesn't matter if you're a bartender or a really cool old guy running Facebook ads. I know how to get clients.
Love it. And the way that you do just bring it down to the basics. You're like, hey, it's about being authentic and talking to people, and just don't waste time. Don't waste time with the bullshit. Just do what you do and bring what you bring. And oh, I love it. I love it. So when you decided, like, hey, I'm bored, I'm gonna, do this thing. Is there anything that you wish that you had known, like looking back now, before you started?
No, like I seriously, like I don't, like I'm glad I didn't know anything. And that's maybe not a very, this is an unpopular Nicole opinion, but it's like, I'm glad I didn't know anything. Because honestly, if I had known about the online coaching world and I had seen what was out there, there is no way in hell I would have become an online coach. Because I am not one of those Barbie girls, like, with their pink and white and taupe banners doing the same shit. Like, I am not that bitch. Like, I am not that person. And had I known that that's what online coaching was all about, like in market strata, I probably wouldn't have done it. So I'm glad that I had the blinders on and that the only people I knew in the online world were a bunch of old men.
For myself, I probably would not have been doing what I'm doing now if I knew, because all the copywriters are very pretentious and prissy and, oh, well, let's be professional and I'm going to wear a button up and I'm like, no. So I
own a button up.
I don't need more.
Oh boy.
What's one tool that you cannot live without on a daily basis? And don't say like power or electricity, because those are stupid. Those are, we're in a world where that's a given, please.
One tool. I don't know, like does my fridge count?
My fridge is a biggie. That is a really, I like it. I
eat a lot of cheese. Like I can't live without cheese. So like the refrigerator is something that other than the knife. I guess I could just bite the cheese off of the block. That would be okay.
I also have a problem with cheese. It's an addiction, but I'm okay with it. Like I'm very okay with it. I don't want to get better.
No, I don't want to get better either.
What's been the best investment you've made for your business other than a coach? I'm taking that one out.
That's the only investments I've made. I haven't bought anything else. I guess like if you count software, right? Like I've bought ClickFunnels, but realistically, like I'm not into this a lot of money. Like I've spent some money on some coaching, but my business is running at a 92% profit line. Like it's crushing it. Like I don't really have the investment piece. I guess I'm building a Facebook group, right? That's the best investment that I made.
Yeah. Well, and that way, it's not always the monetary, the time and the attention that you've put into that. And it is a group where it is very authentic. It's not one of the, I know I've told you this before, that you ruined me, because now I don't want to go and network in any other groups. Like, all right, now I have to put on like the professional, like, hey, what are you doing? And yours, I'm just like, hey guys, what? This is what I got. What can I help with? Oh my goodness. Now, how do you continue to learn to stay up on things?
Yeah, I'm big on that. And I listen to podcasts. Like I'm a big podcast person. Like if I'm not on a Zoom call and I'm not writing content, I am absolutely like listening. I'm always listening to I mean, I listen, both of my coaches have podcasts, so I listen to theirs because I know that my coaches, like, I know how coaching works, right? Like, it's like you give some here, you give some there, like they sprinkle out all of the little nidbits everywhere. So I'm always listening to my coaches' podcasts, and I listen to their coaches' podcasts, so that I can learn. I want to know who my grand coach is. Like, that's important to me. Like, I need to know who's coaching my coaches. So I listen to their podcasts quite a bit. I do read the occasional book, but I generally put it onto audio because I'm a multitasker, and reading slows me down a bit, like, and which some days is real good, but usually, like, I'm doing the damn dishes, you know, I'm doing laundry, chasing after the kids. I like to paint, I like to color, so I like to listen to podcasts while I do that. Multitasking makes me feel at ease.
Yeah. I 100% get that. I have always been a voracious reader, but since starting the business, I definitely am audiobooks and podcasts all the way, because I want to be coloring, or today I'm baking 9 dozen bagels, or, you know, this is the shit you do when you're like, I run my own business. I feel like getting busy. Like, you know.
Yeah, I can legit spend my afternoon coloring if I want to.
Nothing wrong with that. I might also learn about a serial killer or business tips. Like,
yeah,
you know, there's everything.
Win-win.
Now, do you mind sharing, what are your coaches' podcasts that you listen to?
I am with Dino Gomez and Dan Henry. Those are my two biggies. I also listen to Russell Brunson stuff all the time because I feel like so many people have learned from him. And I really like Russell's approach to everything, in the sense that he just is unapologetic about what he does, and he's very like a good boy, right? Yeah. So funny enough, I generally use Russell Brunson as my metric of not what not to do because it doesn't work, but what not to do in competitive edge, right? Okay. Is because everyone listens to Russell Brunson. So I try to listen and understand and really, really digest what he has to say, and then do something that's completely my own, that's outside of his spectrum, so that I stay competitive.
I like that. I really like that. That makes sense. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have when they're starting a business?
When you're getting rolling in this business world, you think you need a website, you think you need a logo, you think you need someone to tell you that you're good, you think you need testimonials, you think you need all this external validation and these pieces of legitimacy, right? Like, I think that's a big word that people say in the beginning. It's like, I just want to feel legit. Here's the thing, a website and perfectly done logos and headshots and all that shit does not create legitimacy. Newsflash, okay? You know what creates legitimacy? Results, okay? You getting results for your clients, you being able to get clients, and you creating results for those clients is the only thing that creates true legitimacy. All of those other pieces of branding and whatnot are nice, but they are bells and whistles. And if you don't have a business that converts on a raw, organic level, don't bother paying for the bells and whistles. What you should be paying for is most likely mindset training to help you to realize that feeling legit is in fact a feeling, and that other people don't recognize it. So it's something that you get to do the work around your mindset to build up that legitimacy, and also create a situation where you have internal validation instead of always looking for external validation. Because as a business owner, no one's coming to save you. You're all on your own.
Yeah. Well, and that is such a big thing, because then also I have a problem. I am a perfectionist. So no, I'm a cheese addict, and I'm also like a recovering perfectionist. But I definitely, when I decided that I wanted to, you know what, I'm going to start a business. This will be fun. I was like, I need to figure out my colors, and I need to figure out a name, and I need to figure out a logo. And then 3 days later, after I fell in love with it, I was like, fuck that, I hate that color. And how many times are we distracting ourselves with changing things and changing a logo, changing this, changing that? Yeah, none of it matters until you've got money coming in. Let's be honest.
That's the cold hard truth. No one cares about your logo if no one cares about the results you sell. And I know it's hard, because like branding people, like, you know, they're like, you gotta have a brand to like do the things. And it's like, No. Like, I mean, I know you've been told that. I know people have said it to you. Take it from people who are killing it. Like, that's not a thing. Your logo is irrelevant. Like, you can do your logo after you make some money. And then you can actually pay somebody to help you to do it right and all of the things. Like, then that's when you need a branding professional, is when you have something that's already converting at a raw level.
Yeah.
Because if it can convert without the bells and whistles, right? Without being legit and pretty and all the things, then you've really got something.
Well, exactly. And it's something that's going to last.
Yeah.
Well, for me, when it's your brand, I just think of, I mean, with you, my brand is me. Your brand is you. It's authentically your personality. It's what you bring to the table. It's not some bell and whistle.
I mean, you don't need them. You don't need, if it's strong enough, if you're good at what you do, if you have that line of authenticity, and that if you really care about your clients, they're not going to ask you like, well, I don't like pink, so I didn't sign you on. Like, those are things for later. Like, that's a later thing. That's not a beginner thing. And you spend a lot of money. You can spend a lot of money down that rabbit hole. Like, that branding rabbit hole is a deep one. Like, you don't need to spend that money right now. Like, you need to put, if you want to spend money because that makes you feel good, go spend money on mindset training. Like, I can't tell you enough. Like, that's what everybody needs in entrepreneur land. It's not strategy, it's mindset.
Well, and that's okay. So that's a big thing. I personally, I thought mindset was like woo woo bullshit until about a year ago. And then I was like, oh, fuck, this works. So what do you do as far as like mindset? Is it a daily thing for you? Do you have a routine?
For me, it's consistency of always being in what I call flow pattern, right? Is that I really brought awareness to myself. I mean, you can't do any sort of mindset practice without self-awareness. And that's something that is a rare skill. It's like common sense, rare, right? Like people don't have common sense, and people are not self-aware. So challenge yourself every single day, right? To become more self-aware, because in understanding who you are, how you think, how you behave, why you feel the way that you do, and having those really concrete things to fall back on in your own personality help you to understand other people. And to also deliver better results, because you are getting your head around why people think and feel the way they do, which I got to tell you guys, sales is all mindset. All the strategy in the world will not save you from your fear-based tactics. It won't work. And in the mindset piece, like, it's not a practice, it's a way of living. It's my life. Like, this is how I do it. And, you know, being in that flow pattern means really being able to tell if I'm in flow. And if you're not self-aware, you can't tell if you're in the flow pattern or not. You're just living your life reacting to everybody else's bullshit. And that's not entrepreneur level thinking. That's 9-to-5 thinking, right? Is that I'm just waiting for a boss to tell me what to do. When you are the boss, being in flow pattern, making decisions for your entire company, that's important for you to know when you're in flow and when you're not, right? You don't want to be making big decisions when you're outside of your core values, when you're outside of yourself. You don't want to be doing that, because you're gonna have to do a lot of backtracking and clean up those mistakes. So for me, it's recognition. I need to know when I'm in flow and when I'm not, and I make decisions accordingly.
And one of the biggest things, I don't even remember how I found your Facebook group. I don't know.
No one ever remembers.
No one ever. I was just going to say, we won't talk about it. I wound up there, and one of the first things I noticed is I'm totally that nerd that like goes through and reads the rules and reads the. I am that girl. So I was reading it, and I absolutely loved that you have the no struggle posts. No struggle posts. And that, to me, right then, I was like, I don't care if this is the biggest bitch in the world. I don't care if she doesn't know jack shit. I don't care. Because the fact that that's one of your non-negotiables, that was huge for me. That this isn't a place for people to bitch and moan and whine about what's going wrong. It's not a thing for people to ask, you know, what are you struggling with? Talk about what you're struggling with. Just flipping that focus. It's huge. That being said, how do you balance things? COVID happened. I know you're also a mom. You also have how many different crazy businesses, like irons in the fire? How do you balance everything? How do you stay positive and in the flow, but also all these balls?
You know, it's kind of one of those things where I think that I was negative for so long. right? Like I was living in a world in the bar world, it's just very negative in general. It's negative or like really toxic positivity. Like, I'm so great and everything's so great. Like, bitch, you're lying.
Or lie.
Yeah. And, you know, I spent a lot of time at the bottom of a bottle. You know, I drank a lot of Jameson. I did a lot of illicit drugs. I did what I wanted for a very long time in that world, and I was miserable. And I was making great money. I was a consultant. I was top of my game. I was doing all the things. I was literally making 3 times what people are in my industry made. And I was miserable. I was a disaster. Like seriously, like barely holding it together. But nobody knew, right? Like nobody knew because, you know, I own my own house. I have investment properties. I somehow managed to never get a DUI. Like I just didn't have those things in my life. Like I didn't have time for them. And so people externally didn't know that I was falling apart on the inside, right? And that I was suffering with massive depression and suicide attempts and all sorts of really gnarly things on a consistent basis, you know. And it wasn't one of those things where it's like, oh, sometimes I get sad. It was just like, I didn't know that happiness was real. And that was my life for a long time. And so when I started to turn the corner, like the shift, right, was one day, and I think that, you know, anybody that's kind of been through that suicide thing knows the feeling of, I can't live like this anymore. And like that dread, right, of like, I literally just wished that I would fall asleep and never wake up. Like that was it, right? It's like I couldn't function. And it was like one day of like, I can't live like this anymore. Like I can't do it. And there was this very quintessential moment. I was actually just telling one of my clients about this the other day, where like I was sitting on a curb in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. drunk somewhere, right? Like, you know, in a dangerous situation, sitting on the curb, crying my eyes out by myself. And there was just a moment where it was like, I can't do this anymore. And the next day I woke up and I looked in the mirror and it was like a different person. It was like my higher self had just said, are you done? Like, are you done with the shit?
Yeah.
And I finally like acquiesced to her. And I said, yeah, you know, like I am done. And so I let my higher self come in and take the wheel. It was like being in a vehicle and like switching drivers, right? It was like, okay, like let's put someone a little bit more responsible behind the wheel. And I did. My higher self came through, and I know that sounds a little woo to some of you guys, but it wasn't woo at all. It was just plain logic. It's like, you know, being that bipolar person and like the other person taking over and saying, we're not going to do this shit anymore. And so that week, I mean, literally within 6 weeks of that, my entire life changed. Like I just made different decisions. I woke up and made different decisions. I stopped drinking completely. I haven't drank in 2 years. And it's not like I went to a meeting about it, or, I mean, you know, do what you got to do, whatever. But like, there was no meetings, there was no withdrawals, there was none of that nonsense. I just decided I didn't want to do it anymore. I stopped all of the things that you do on top of the drinking. All of that was gone. And I decided that I wanted to be happy. And that shift, it changed I broke up with the dude, you know, the shitbag dude. Broke up with the shitbag dude, everything changed, and I quit my job, and changed everything in a very short amount of time. And then I just decided that this is who I am now. So it's not really about like being positive or like struggling with negativity and like doing all the things. It's just that at one point in my life, I just decided that's not who I am anymore. And we all have that ability. And I guess I just didn't know that. I didn't know that I could do that, right? and to be able to wake up one day and completely change my whole life. I mean, I guess a lot of people don't know that that's a possibility, but I did it. And, you know, I was still making like $10,000-$12,000 a month back then. But, you know, that's not the same as 50 or 60, right?
No. Well, and doing something that it's very obvious that you love, and that fills your cup and lights your fire, and you're having such a huge, impactful experience with so many people. And yeah, I think it's amazing. I definitely think it's woo, but I had a very similar where, yeah, far too many substances, liquid and powder and pill, and, you know, trying to hide or mute whatever that was inside. And definitely realizing that, you know what, life is too fucking short. And for me, it was, I had a good friend pass away very suddenly in a car accident, no notice. And she had her entire life ahead of her and was getting ready to go to school and make a difference. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
I actually had that same exact experience about 2 months before mine. My best friend died in a car accident.
Oh my God.
He had a 3-month-old baby.
It's a reminder about, like, life is precious, life is short, and honestly, we could be done it any day. And what the hell am I doing, working my ass off for somebody else's paycheck, doing something I hate, drinking my life away because that's the only way that I can smile and grin and deal with it. And nah. Nah.
Not worth it. It's not worth it.
No.
And just, I guess at the time, not knowing that there was another option, right? Like that I could do things differently, but it's like, I look back on those years that I wasted, right? Like just wasted, I mean, not even drinking, right? Just wasted being miserable, wasted being unhappy.
Yeah. But definitely silver lining makes you so much stronger now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the relatability factor is huge, and I have tons of content for my podcast.
I was just going to say, that's exactly. When you got shit like that, you're never out of stories to tell. You're like, okay, no, I can tell you a story. It's gonna fit with that. Says one time I was drunk in a field. Oh my goodness. What is your caffeine of choice? Because you're always so awake. I know you drink water.
Yeah, I don't. I'm a water girl.
Really?
Yeah, I don't do caffeine. Every once in a while I will drink a Pepsi, but it's because I really like the taste, and I buy those little tiny ones, and I just like the taste of it, but I can't handle caffeine at all because I never drink it. So it like makes me feel like this. Like I'm shivering all the time, but I've actually never been a caffeine person at all.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, this is meditation mostly, is the energetic level comes from meditation. I'm a big twice a day kind of person.
Okay. Do you do like guided meditation, or is it something where it's just being quiet?
I started in guided meditation. I follow Jay Shetty. I'm actually in his program too. But and so I actually joined Jay Shetty's program to learn about his marketing strata because it's really cool. So
love that.
Kind of that double-edged sword thing. Like his mindset training stuff I mean, it's good. It's basic, right? It's basic. It's low level, and I think it does a lot of good for a lot of people to like introduce people into meditation and what it's like and the feelings and all of that, which I love the movement piece of that. But getting to watch his marketing strata was really interesting for me. So it was like twofold kind of learning. So I started in the guided thing, but really like it's just me. Like I just like to be quiet and still, and I have different mechanisms inside of me, but it's really building the connection between my current self and my higher self, and listening and just not being in anybody else's energy for a little bit of time, because as a coach, I mean, I have 84 clients. Like I'm constantly in someone else's energy. I'm constantly giving. And so that replenishment, it's not just a luxury. Like if I don't do it, I can't do my job. You know, I can't serve people if I'm not filling my own cup up. So
yeah. Well, and especially with everything being in the online space now, it's very hard to get away from people unless you make that conscious effort to unplug and leave. I know we had talked before. I like to go to the woods where I can not get cell phone signal because that way I'm like, oh, I didn't get the call.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I mean, my phone, it's constantly going, but I create those parameters and those boundaries with clients and with people out of the group, and all of that is like, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, I'm with clients. I'm doing this stuff. Like I'm not doing the messenger game. I do messenger in the morning and messenger at night. And if you need me in the middle of the day, you're shit out of luck because I'm already working with other people. So sorry.
Yeah.
I don't baby my clients because it's not in their best interest.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the other things I really like about everything you do is that you're not like, okay, here, I'm going to spoon feed you this. Hey, here's this shit that I found that worked. Use it. Go and figure it out.
Go and figure it out. I'm going to show you the theories. I'm going to show you the mindset, the strategy, the actionable steps, and then you go make that shit your own, because I don't believe in fucking templates. That shit is not cool. No templates.
No. All right. What is your next big, hairy, impossible, crazy goal?
I'm so glad you asked. I'm not going to tell anybody else. I'm just going to tell you, and your podcast people can listen to it. So it can be a spoiler alert for everybody else. But I am doing a members only group. I'm going to build a members only group, not in place of, but in addition to. And so this members only group is going to be launching next year.
Awesome.
And it is going to be all mindset development. So it's going to be a mindset development where you have a monthly rate that you come in and pay. I'm going to take most of, in my group, I already have a ton of content recorded in there. It's endless. So there's more than enough for the members that are coming in there. You come in and check it out. You got enough content forever. But I will be moving all of my mindset practice work will be moved into the paid group. So I can get a little bit more in depth. I want to do a higher level of mindset stuff. And I know that in the free group, I have to keep it pretty low level. And my programs have a lot of mindset, but people in my programs are very focused on money and focused on building their businesses. And so I feel like this additional piece of the Wonder Empire will really help everyone to get where they want to go faster. Because if you spend some time doing that mindset development where you have more mindset touch points, people just progress. I mean, I know how fast I progress because I really chose mindset first, strategy second. And so I want to give people that opportunity as well.
That is amazing. I definitely will be watching out for the announcement. I think that's absolutely, and I 100% agree. If I hadn't worked on my mindset first, I would probably still be working in a dead end 9-to-5, drinking way too much and hating my life. So absolutely. I 100% agreed. Well, my dear, okay, so where can people find you? Where's the best way to hit you up?
Come to the group. And it's not just for women. Wonder Woman is a mindset in my world. So I actually let the boys come play in the group too, which is real fun. You got to be a little brave, but it is a very strong competitive edge for men who are brave enough to join the Wonder World. They are getting clients out of that group left and right. I'll tell you that much. Those boys love it. But it is Unicorn Client Attraction Secrets for High Vibe Wonder Women. That's the group to join. I would say add me on Facebook, but I'm consistently at 5,000 people. I have 3,000 in my request box. Sorry guys. It's getting there. But podcast coming soon.
Yes. And what is your podcast called?
It's called Real Unicorns Don't Wear Pants.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie, I posted that as a hashtag in your group. I want to say it was like 2 months ago, and I was like, oh, I'm being so cool and smart and snarky. And then I was like, oh damn it, she already uses it. I love it. I freaking love it.
Speaking of mindset, if you're thinking, yeah, all right, I need to do some work on my fox, but you aren't quite sure where to start, have no fear. I've put together a course that leads you through step by step how to uncover and clarify your own personal fox, how to set intentions and begin the process of manifesting your big, hairy, scary, impossible, crazy ass dreams into reality. The Badass Boss Bitch Mindset Mastery course launches next week and will be available at a seriously discounted rate for the Black Friday weekend. We're talking 75% off, guys. Together, let's end 2020 with a bang and make 2021 our bitch. Check out the course details online at www.megsrights.com or drop me a note via email for specifics. Email us at megsrights.com with any questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. Who knows? You may hear your question discussed in a future episode. You can also follow us for additional updates, puppy pics, and food porn on Instagram at Caffeinate and Conquer Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the fun, and spread the word to your fellow badass caffeinated friends. The more the merrier. As always, thanks for listening, make good life choices, and see you next week.